You can thank me later. My best friend Jordan grinned as he shoved his phone in front of my face. Because your love life was dead, and I just resurrected it. I blinked at the glowing screen, at the dating profile I had absolutely not created. My name, my photo, my interests, but not my doing. And then, the real kicker, the notification at the top. Congratulations, you've matched. Matched with who? That question burned like a fuse lit at both ends. Jordan, what the hell did you do? My voice cracked between anger and disbelief, my chest tightening in a way I couldn't quite explain. Jordan, with his perpetually smug, self-appointed Cupid face, simply shrugged and plopped down onto my dorm bed. Chill, Noah. I just set up your profile. You never leave your books, man. You're practically married to the library. Someone's gotta make sure you don't die single. I wanted to argue, to snatch his phone and delete whatever damage he had done, but curiosity gnawed harder than pride. My thumb trembled as I tapped the match notification. And then my heart stopped, because staring back at me from the screen was Professor Adrian Kane. The same Professor Kane whose literature lectures I sat in every Monday and Wednesday morning. The same man whose voice could turn a reading list into scripture, whose dark eyes skimmed the class like he knew everyone's secrets, and whose smile, rare, fleeting, was enough to make my stomach flip like a badly dealt card trick. And Jordan, that idiot, was laughing. Holy shit. Dude, your match is him. Heat flushed up my neck so quickly it made me dizzy. This has to be a mistake. He can't possibly... I stopped, choking on the words, because no matter how wrong it felt, I couldn't look away from that profile picture. Kane outside somewhere, wind tugging at his hair, his glasses catching the light. Casual. Human. Nothing like the untouchable presence he had at the front of the classroom. And his bio. Simple. Direct. Almost painfully so. Looking for honesty. Looking for real. I dropped the phone like it was on fire. Jordan, delete it. Now. Jordan tilted his head, studying me with that sly grin that always meant trouble. You're blushing. I am not, you so are. Noah, listen. Maybe the universe is trying to tell you something. The universe is trying to get me expelled. I snapped, pacing the room like the floor was unstable beneath my feet. He's my professor. He grades my papers. He literally decides if I pass or fail. Jordan just lay back on my bed, arms behind his head, smirking like a devil. Or maybe he decides if you get your first real boyfriend. My hands were shaking as I grabbed his phone again, ready to undo every swipe, every match. But then my screen lit Upanathar notification. A new message. I froze. My lungs felt too small for the air I was trying to drag in. Against every rational bone in my body, I opened it. Adrian K. I didn't expect to see you here. The words were plain. Innocent even. But I swore I could hear them in his voice, low and careful, the way he spoke in class when he wanted students to listen closely. My pulse slammed against my ribs. He knew. He knew it was me. And Yeeth hadn't unmatched. He hadn't ignored it. He had messaged first. Jordan sat up like it was Christmas morning. Oh my God. He wants to talk. Dude, this is fate. You have to reply. I can't, I said, even though every inch of me wanted to. My chest was burning with something terrifying, something electric. It's wrong. But I was already typing. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his name glowing on my phone. Every vibration made me jolt upright. Every exchange careful, tentative, felt like we were walking a tightrope strung between something forbidden and something inevitable. He wasn't the stern, unreachable man who stood in front of lecture halls. On the app he was human, right? Thoughtful. Curious about me in a way that didn't feel like a teacher probing a student, but like a man wanting to know another man. We talked about books naturally, but then we drifted to music, to favorite places in the city, to the ways silence could be comforting with the right person. And when he said, maybe we should talk in person, my heart clenched so hard it hurt. I should have said no. I should have closed the app and deleted everything. But instead, my fingers typed before I could stop them. When? The cafe was dim, quiet, almost too intimate. I picked the farthest corner booth, but my hands wouldn't stop sweating. Then he walked in. Professor Adrian was taller up close, his presence filling the room in a way that made every head turn. But his eyes, they searched until they landed on me and softened. Not the sharp professor's gaze. Something gentler, warmer. He slid into the booth across from me, setting his glasses down for a moment as if to strip away the distance. His voice was low when he finally spoke. "I thought it might have been a mistake," he said. "But when I saw your name, I didn't want to look away." I swallowed hard. You know this is complicated," he finished for me, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "I know. Believe me, I've been asking myself every possible question since last night. But the truth is, Noah, I wanted to see you anyway." The world tilted. My pulse was so loud in my ears I barely heard myself whisper, "Why?" His hand moved across the table, stopping just short of mine. Close enough to feel the warmth radiating, close enough to make me ache. His eyes held mine steady. Because sometimes the line between right and wrong feels less clear than the line between real and unreal. And this, his voice softened, already feels real. My chest burned. My mind screamed. But my heart, it was already reaching across that line. I didn't realize how long we'd been talking until the barista started stacking chairs on tables. Hours had slipped away like time bent differently in that booth. When Adrian finally stood, sliding his coat back on, I thought my chest might cave in with the weight of wanting him to stay. Outside, the night was cold, the city humming with late traffic. We walked side by side, our shoulders brushing every so often. It was maddening, each accidental touch more intoxicating than anything I'd ever felt. When we stopped at the corner where our paths split, he looked at me with a softness I had never seen in the lecture hall. "We need to be careful," he said quietly. "The world won't understand." My breath clouded in the air between us. "I know," I whispered, "but I don't want to stop." His jaw tightened, as if he was fighting every instinct. And then, just before stepping away, he leaned down, close enough that his breath warmed my cheek. Neither do I. The following weeks were a blur of tension and stolen moments. In class, he was Professor Kane, calm, controlled, his voice steady as he lectured. But outside, in hidden corners of cafes or on long walks after dark, he was Adrian. He laughed more, teased more, listened like every word I said mattered. But the danger was always there. A glance held too long, a brush of his hand when no one was looking, the terrifying, beautiful risk of wanting what we weren't supposed to have. And then Jordan found out. I came back to our dorm one night to find him sitting on my bed, arms crossed, my phone in his hand. "So," he said, voice flat, "care to explain why you've been sneaking off with my professor?" Panic ripped through me. "Jordan, you're insane," he cut in, standing. "Noah, he could lose his job. You could get dragged through hell if anyone finds out." "What the hell were you thinking?" I wanted to fight back, to tell him he didn't understand. But the truth was I didn't either. All I knew was that every time Adrian looked at me, I felt alive in a way I never had before. "Jordan, she's not what you think," I said desperately. "It's not some game. It's real." Jordan stared at me, hurt flashing in his eyes. "Then you're in deeper trouble than I thought." He shoved the phone back into my chest and stormed out, leaving me shaking. For days, the silence between us was unbearable. And worse, me guilt gnawed at me. Adrian had warned me. He'd been careful. But I was the weak link. I almost ended it. I almost texted him that we couldn't keep going. But then, one night, he showed up outside my dorm, hands shoved in his pockets, looking more uncertain than I'd ever seen him. "I shouldn't be here," he said as soon as I opened the door. "Then why are you?" My voice was quiet, trembling. His eyes searched mine, raw and unguarded. "Because staying away hurts more." And then kissed me. It wasn't careful. It wasn't restrained. It was years of loneliness and longing breaking all at once. His hands cupping my face, my fingers clutching his coat as if I'd fall apart without him. When we finally pulled back, breathless, he rested his forehead against mine. Tell me this isn't just me, he whispered. I shook my head, tears stinging my eyes. It's not just you. The fallout came anyway. Rumors swirled after someone spotted us together too close, too familiar. Whispers spread through campus like wildfire. And one morning, Adrian wasn't at the lectern. Another professor stood in his place, announcing he was on administrative leave. My world cracked open. I found him that night in his apartment, the weight of the storm written all over his face. They're investigating, he said, voice hoarse. It doesn't matter that we haven't crossed every line. It doesn't matter that it's real. To them, it's wrong. I wanted to rage, to scream at the injustice of it. Instead, I just wrapped my arms around him, burying my face in his chest. I don't care what they think. I don't care if the world says no. I just want you. For a long time, he held me, his body trembling against mine. And then, slowly, a smile touched his lips. You have no idea how much I needed to hear that. Months passed. The investigation dragged on, painful and endless. Jordan eventually came around, his anger cooling into reluctant support when he saw how much Adrian meant to me. And then, one afternoon, Adrian showed up outside the library, a faint smile breaking across his face. It's over, he said. They dropped it. I'm free. Relief crashed over me so hard I nearly staggered. He pulled me into his arms, right there in the middle of campus, not caring who saw. For the first time, we didn't have to hide. For the first time, it wasn't about fear, it was about love. And as he kissed me, the world still spinning madly around us, I knew. My best friend's stupid prank had changed everything. Not ruined. Not destroyed. It had given me the one thing I never thought I'd find: someone who saw me, truly saw me, and chose me anyway. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.